Hey, what it do, fam? What it do? What it do? What it do? Welcome. If this is your first time seeing me, hi. My name's Kimberly Ponce. This is my channel. We talk about awesome things all the time. Today, we's gonna get down. We's gonna get down into the the nitty gritty of what it's like to be authentic and why it's actually cost effective. My first choice, like when I was first thinking about the title, because titles are important and I really like to make like cool titles. I was like, why authenticity is attractive? And then it's like, that's not really the focus that I'm trying to like focus on. Because it's I mean, yeah, it is, but like why authenticity and why being authentic is cost effective, I think that's it captures more of like what I'm going for. So we're in the end times. we're in the end times. So there's a lot of phoniness going around. There's a lot of fake, and like I don't blame anyone that's fake. I really don't, because it's legitimately a thing where in the past 4 years or so, where there's been a lot more derisiveness. Is that a word? I think so. Political derisiveness, where there's a lot of let me look up this word real quick. There's a lot of division. Derisive meaning, yeah, expressing contempt or ridicule. So there's a lot of like political derisiveness where it's like everyone's legit, Actually, I wish I could include a clip from one of my favorite comedy sets from one of my favorite comedians, but like he has a pretty funny way of like pointing out how like people who wear so when there was the pandemic and the people who wore masks and the people who didn't, and there's such a strong opinion if you are on this side or if you're on this side, and then it's creating space and distance even between family members. And that was kind of like the whole personal opinion here, like the whole point of creating chaos, and kind of like why the pandemic was engineered to tear us apart, even families, even friends, even husband and wives. Like it was meant to make people go at each other's throats because they have such a strong opinion about why we should do this or why we should be this way or vote for this person versus vote for this person. So that explains why there's because people don't want to be ridiculed, so harshly. What ends up happening is that people just like kind of go with the flow or go with what people are saying, instead of expressing their actual opinion, just to avoid intense criticism or being like banned from the area. It's because like, for some people, like if they weren't like on board with what the house rules were, then like that would be grounds for that person losing their home and their housing and their shelter based over a political opinion. And if you look back in history and stuff too, like how political unrest begins is with people fighting with each other. So that's it's just not surprising. But that is something that does explain. I'm not saying that explains everything, but that is something that explains the majority of fakeness. It's like because people don't want to get into a fight. They don't want contention. They don't want beef. They just like are trying to like check out at the grocery store or something simple. Like, so if you've ever wondered like why does it seem like most people are fake nowadays, it's actually like a self-defense mechanism. For some, that explains some of the reason. Other reasons, it's like end times. There's a higher turnout of people that are like arrogant or more selfish. It's essentially a form of like conformity. Because if you're agreeing with what somebody is saying right in front of you, but you totally disagree, but you're agreeing out of appeasement, out of fawning, then it's like, yeah, you know, that would be like watching yourself become fake in front of your own eyes, like hearing your own self like say things you don't even agree with, but like that can kind of, even people who think that they're authentic, like they kind of find themselves like going with what other people are saying sometimes just to avoid like a huge fallout. So that's like conformity in a nutshell, kind of right there. But being authentic is like cost effective, because if you're working for yourself, like you have, like for example, and you have so much more passion working for yourself, or you know, like starting a food truck, whatever you like, you know, want to do based off of your uniqueness and like the strengths that were given to you from a young age, or gifts that you've developed over time, God-given gifts, like we're created in God's image, and have. Let's put my spectacles on here. There you go. Psalms 139:14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and your works are wonderful. I know that full well. So when we like embrace and capitalize on our uniqueness and our skills that God gave us, that's gonna be like saving us money in the long run, because we're not working a job that we hate, therefore selling our soul and losing more energy and letting, like, you know, that soul sucking environment like feed off of your intelligence and last little juices of creativity while you still got it, like type of thing. If you're embracing and recognizing your uniqueness, because we're fearfully and wonderfully made, isn't that beautiful, by the way? Like every person, like every flower, every like blade of grass, like I just like sometimes get lost in thinking about how God created everything. It blows my noggin a little bit, but it's like so cool. But like that's like gonna be the situation where you're saving energy. Like it's when I say cost effective, I mean on all spectrums. Like, yeah, money, but like you're saving your energy, you're saving your dignity, you're saving your soul, you're saving not just money, but you're working your booty off for your future investment, and you know it's going to collect, and you know it's like going to be lucrative and profitable because you're passionate about it. I know that we all have to do jobs that are like so until we get better and better, and figure out a little bit more niche and a little bit more narrowed down of like what it is that we really want to put our energy into as we get older with more experience, because we all have to start somewhere. So this is just something to keep in mind. Like, yeah, make that capital and get your foot in the door where you need to, but in the long run, remember that the very things that other people might criticize you for is actually the thing that God made you specifically in mind to provide for you, and to offer like provision. Like your unique set of skills is actually a way to provide for yourself and your family, but we have to capitalize and recognize what strengths and what is unique about ourselves in order to see the overflow from that. And we see here in this verse, 1 Samuel 16:7, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height. 1 Samuel 16:7, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So those things that people see on the outside or something, or just what they judge from what they can see, like that might be something that you think would never be anything, or there's nothing special about it, or it's just who you are, and like there's nothing more to it. But like it's beautiful. Like that's who you are, and like the strengths and the things that other people see are the things that God's made for you specifically in mind. Like that is the source. Like, and so it's important to not let the illusion of what things look like or seem like, or like surface level judgments. Like it's important not to let that really deter you from like what it is that you think you would be really solid at. And by the way, may I say, whatever anybody does for the first couple of tries, they're not adept at it. In a more frank way to describe what I'm saying is, you're gonna be kind of shitty at something when you try it out for the first time. You're not gonna be, I mean, yeah, there is such thing as beginner's luck, and that's baller. I love beginner's luck. But I am just saying, like, every person had their first rodeo, so to speak. And you will gain and develop more skill at something, an activity, a hobby, a pursuit of some sort, a creative pursuit, a professional, a business, entrepreneurial pursuit. You'll get better at it over time. And so don't ever let, and this is a quote from A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. I like that. I really like that movie. I know it's like, it's an older one, but it's a good one. It's a good one. I like Hilary Duff as Cinderella. It's super cute. And then that guy who plays in it, I forget his name, but he's like the total quintessential 2000 Chad looking football player, hunk guy from high school. I forget his name, but he's the co-star in that movie. So yeah, I'm just letting you know that right away. But so with all that said, God cares about your heart, and He can see your heart at all times. Isn't that cool? And the Lord looks at the heart. So keep in mind that we want to cultivate a heart posture of compassion and light and kindness, gentleness, and he will see what you're doing too, by the way, behind closed doors, and He will bless you in public. Like if you're living a life and it seems like you feel like you really are doing all the right things, but it seems like just nothing's like happening. It's like God's working behind the scenes. Isn't that cool? Like He's always working for us, you guys. God is good all the time. And then we also have here Romans 12:2. What are we at for time? Okay, cool. Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that's kind of, let's read it one more time. Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And those who renew their strength in Jesus, and those who refresh themselves, and those who renew themselves in Jesus are refreshed. I forget that other Bible verse, but basically, if you come to God, or if you refresh others, then you'll find yourself refreshed in Christ. You refresh your own heart. Like if you help others and refresh others, you'll find yourself refreshed. And that's kind of like honestly the whole like nutshell rationale behind what I do for my YouTube channel, because I always feel like I'm doing something important, even if it's just a video a day, Monday through Friday, and in talking about what I feel like is on my spirit, and then sharing and backing it up with a couple Bible verses. Like that does renew me. It absolutely it adds purpose to my life, and I'm honored to have this platform. let's keep going. Let's keep going. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying, baby? So we got Galatians 1:10. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If that's the case, or am I trying to please people? I would not be a servant of Christ. So it's really, it's like, it's super easy to get caught up in, I used to be a huge people pleaser. No bueno. It was just, like, I didn't even realize it for, like, I feel like most of my life. I was just, like, but it's also, like, the person I am. Like, I'm very compassionate and, like, want to help. So it was something that was, like, taken advantage of more often than not. But now I'm aware of, like, how people can see it as weakness, kindness for weakness. But it's reminding us that if we are worried about pleasing our husband or wife, our mom or our dad, our sister or brother, or trying to please our boss, or just trying to make your cat or dog happy, like whatever in this world that you're trying to appease and kind of find validation from that source, if it's not a source of God, then you are, what essentially the verse is saying is, then you're not a servant of Christ. So we want to make sure that we're always cultivating thoughts, and then those thoughts that are cultivated are guided actions from Spirit and Jesus, and that those actions are reflecting being a servant of Christ. Yesterday, my video, I mentioned that it's all up here, and that's really true. That it is all up here. It all starts up here. It's a mental thing. This life, which is cool. It can be hard, but, like, that's pretty cool. Like, if you are in control, then, like, it's cool that you can handle yourself, and it comes from within. Like, that's beautiful. Like, our source of strength, and, like, being like, empowered or our own source of healing and abundance, like, it comes from within. But that's because personally for me, anyone who has Jesus living in their heart and has accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior, like, that source will always come from within, because He's living within you. You asked Him to fill your spirit and to guide your thoughts and conversations and movements, even. Like, everything is in alignment, and it's beautiful when you live like that. It's like you really do feel like a godly confidence, like, because of that. It's so cool. So, like, that's that. I feel like I'm beating the dead horse on that point. Let's move on. The last verse is 6 Matthew. No. I don't know why I wrote 6. It's Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds, and glorify your Father in heaven. So, I was just watching a video from Trend Genius, and I think it was posted like a year ago, but I watched a couple of videos from him this morning, but one of the points that he made is that sometimes God will put you in other people's lives, so that they can see who God is, because God's, like, working through you with that person. In some situations, like, if you feel like you're like, righteously behaving and like you kind of have, like, a feeling like you're in this spot right now for a reason, and it's, like, more than just a coincidence. Like, more often than not, God is placing you in that person's life for a reason. Like, I'm not gonna, like, sit here and, like, claim to know, like, every single, like, reason why God has people come into our lives, but I do believe fervently in my heart and like from the bottom of my heart that everything does happen for a reason, and that God is strategic, and we are just the pieces. Like, this is a piece to my day, and like, I'm a vessel. Like, I'm a straight up vessel, bruh, for Jesus and for the kingdom of lightness, and I couldn't be more like honored to have a relationship with God, to share the gospel and things like that. Like, it's gorgeous. I couldn't imagine living any other way. But so whatever your uniqueness is, your skill, let your light shine. Whatever you feel like you just come alive whenever you do that XYZ thing. Maybe it's painting, maybe it's fixing your car, maybe it's tinkering around with the motorcycle in the garage, maybe it's doing some housework, maybe it's singing, maybe it's acting, maybe it's painting, maybe it's teaching in a classroom. You have a beautiful gift that God gave you. Let your light shine so before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. That's the video, you guys. I love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. It really means a lot. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay chosen. Peace.